Hi all, welcoming you all to the another panda session, and in this session we are going to see how to display the data of the pandas data frame uh, using many keywords. So yeah, the first command we all know that it is nothing but reading the CSV file from the GitHub and storing that as pandas data frame. So I am running it. This we saw early in the previous sessions as well. So this is the first command I am using, which is nothing but display function I am using to display the first 1,000 records. So by default, a display command works, brings the first 1,000 records. So we will see what is that data. Yeah, here you can see it is showing first 1,000 records, and yeah, all the columns with values it is coming. So this is the sample data that is provided. So our next thing is like we are looking for the first 5 records alone. So that means the top 5 records. So we are using head function for that. By default, if you use head function and without mentioning any number, by default it will consider that as 5. So say for example, I'm running that, and in the output you can see that. So which is nothing but ID 1 to 5 it will bring. Okay. Then if you are interested to look only the first n records, the n is user defined one. Instead of 3, you can put 9 or 10, whatever. So if you are looking for the first 3 records, here in this case, I am mentioning that as within the it function, open and close bracket, I am mentioning that as 3. So you can see only the first 3 records is coming, displaying. So yeah. And one more interesting thing is you can specify what are the columns. In the above case, you can see all the first 3 rows is coming, right? All the columns are coming, the first 3 values. But here, if you want only the neighborhood column, say for example, this particular column you are looking at and the top 3 values in this neighborhood column. Okay, so in this case, you need to use the pandas data frame, uh, double square bracket, opening square bracket, and closing square bracket. Within that, single quotes or double quotes, uh, both we can use, and within that column name we can specify, and with that you can use the dot object with the function head to bring the first 3 records. So in this case, we are mentioning 3. That means it will bring the first 3 records in that neighborhood column. So second, we are looking at 2 columns. So in this case, we are interested to see both the neighborhood and as well as a year build column. That first 3 records for with the both the columns. So in that case, we need to use the same syntax, but in between we can use the comma. Yeah. Then another function is tail function. Tail function is nothing but opposite of head function, like that. So head is bringing the first thing, right? First n number of records. So tail is bringing last n number of records. So here also by default, if you mention only tail function uh, on the pandas data frame, it will bring only the last 5 records as default one. If you know correctly, in the previous session, we saw, right, with the help of shape attribute, we saw the number of rows as 1460. So here you can see it brings the last 5 rows. Yeah, this is the tail function one. So in the tail function also, you can bring the user defined number in between. So if you are interested to see only the last 2 records, you can mention that number within the opening and closing bracket. So now it will bring the last 2 records alone. And here also you can define specific columns, and within that specific columns you are interested to see last 2 records, that also we can do. And one more thing is here also we can use the multiple columns with the tail function, just like a head function. Thanks. We'll catch up you in another session.